Hey friends, welcome back to Abridged by Alpal. It's been a while since I've done a bracket, so that's what we're gonna do in this video. This bracket is going to be fantasy and sci-fi locations that I might like to take a trip to, and which one would I most prefer. And that's it. Let's just get started. Okay, first up we have Caladan from Dune versus Camelin from Wheel of Time. This is like a little bit hard because I think that I would really like Caladan, but we see it for so little in the book and the movie. It's really hard to say that I would prefer that over Camelin. Also, I feel like Camelin, as far as fantasy cities go, is like one of the least grungy ones. So I'm gonna go for Camelin, not to mention the fact that they have a matriarchy and a queen. That's awesome. Okay, next we have Pandora from Avatar versus, I don't know how to, I feel like I've never said this country right a day in my life, but Otterland from Throne of Glass. See, I don't want to pick the Throne of Glass one so that I don't have to say it anymore, but if I'm being completely honest, I feel like you're so exposed to the elements in Pandora that I don't think I would like that. I think I'd be very anxious all the time. So I'm gonna go with Otterland. Next, Atlantis from various myth and adaptations, but more specifically the animated movie, versus Orisha from the Legacy of Orisha. And I know that I've spelled this wrong, but it takes a while to go and find special characters. Actually, this one's not hard at all for me. I thought it might be, but I'm claustrophobic, and I just don't think that I would like living in a bubble under the water. I feel like I would be panicked all the time. And Orisha sounds fantastic. They've got really big cats that you can ride, and not just cats. I think they've got other things as well. Okay, next, Snelthis from Warbreaker versus Arrakis from Dune. Actually, this is a no-brainer. I live in the desert now, and have found that this is just not the climate for me. Having been raised in Minnesota, I got very used to water in the air and lakes and lots of rain and snow, and I'm not a happy camper when I'm dried out. Oz from Wizard of Oz versus Port-Free Commerce from Murderbot. I kind of just threw in Port-Free Commerce because I wanted Murderbot to be represented, but now that I'm here, no, even just visiting a space station, it's just not entirely compelling to me, and two, like, again, the anxiety. I'd be panicked about something, but it'd be really, You know what? Murderbot doesn't even like Port-Free Commerce. Why should I? Oh, okay, fun. Coruscant from Star Wars versus Naboo from Star Wars. This one's also kind of a no-brainer. I like cities, but I do feel they're very chaotic, which is why I like London so much. I feel like of all the cities that I've visited, it feels a little bit less chaotic. And so I just can't imagine that an entire planet that is one big city would be especially enticing to me. And then when you add in the fact that like it's probably really expensive to stay up on top, and so you'd be down in the lower levels, no thank you. Also, Naboo, oh my gosh, just like to me, ideal planet of all the ones in the Star Wars universe. I think I'm just picking Naboo hands down anyway. Okay, Westeros from Game of Thrones versus the Two Rivers from Wheel of Time. This was kind of not fair, was it? An entire country versus a teeny tiny little valley village. But I'll be completely honest with you, it just doesn't sound like anyone ever in A Song of Ice and Fire that you meet is like actually happy with their life. It always feels like someone has one or two or many things that are dragging them down. So I can't imagine it would be a super fun place to visit, whereas the people in the Two Rivers seem to be pretty content with their lives. So I think visiting that would be more fun. Plus, I guess, childhood home of the Dragon Reborn. How fun would that be? Okay, Ketterdam from Six of Crows versus the Shire from Lord of the Rings. Again, I don't even think that Kaz likes living in Ketterdam, so I don't feel bad about not wanting to visit Ketterdam either. I feel like not a lot of people are enjoying their time there, kind of similar to Westeros. And also the Shire, idyllic. Holy cow. I think it would be really funny to visit the Shire as like a tall woman and have all of these hobbits, but also like just lounge around, like read some books, eat some good food, do a little bit of gardening. That sounds like a great vacation to me, I'm not gonna lie. Ooh, guess what? It's double-sided. I bet you weren't expecting that. Okay, Narnia from Narnia, Chronicles of Narnia, versus Luna from Red Rising. In Red Rising, it kind of takes away some of the stress of being in space that some of the other ones have, because it is so like colonized, terraformed, livable is really what I'm going for. But Narnia, what cool things could you run into if you're visiting Narnia? Like talking animals, wood and water spirits. It's not going to get much better than that, right? Would absolutely. But also, if I'm ever going to get an opportunity to go to space, it would have to be something like Luna. Nah. Narnia, okay. I included Mordor as a joke. And also going up against Hogwarts. Freaking love Hogwarts. I feel like it would be so cool to visit there. I'm a big fan of castles already, but like castle with magic. Scotland, castle with magic. Yeah, that's just the way to go. I don't like being hot. I wouldn't like Mordor. Alethkar from the Stormlight Archives versus Tar Valon from Wheel of Time. This just made me think of like the image I had in my head of Tar Valon. I think they actually switched how they were saying it in the audiobook, so I don't even know how it is pronounced. Anyway, the image that I had when like we were first introduced to the idea of the White Tower versus what it was like when the characters actually showed up there, completely different. Holy cow. But I think visiting the whole island would just be sick. Alethkar would be pretty interesting too, though. I'd love to experience a high storm as long as I was, safely stowed away. Okay, the Tamerlane from Sun Eater, the ship, versus Ravka from Shadow and Bone. Oh, that one's tough. Two very, very incredibly different flavors. The problem with the Tamerlane is that if I visited it, I'm pretty sure I'd have to be on the ship for years, and I don't really want to do that. But Ravka's also pretty politically unstable. I don't know. Maybe I could just do a little short stint on the Tamerlane while they're like visiting a planet and not having to actually travel on it. Okay, Cell from Elantris versus Mars from Red Rising. It would be so cool to say that you visited Mars, but I really, really love Elantris, and I think it would be so cool to visit all of the countries and all of the lands and kind of study the different ways that they have magic, so to speak. It's gonna be so. The Spring Court from Akatar versus Basgiath War College from Fourth Wing. I know that the Spring Court is supposed to be like all sunshiny and things are growing and it's delicious, but it does definitely have an ominous undertone because of Tamlin. It would be fun to like be a scribe at Basgiath. I think anything else there would be kind of awful. And the constant threats from outside would not be fun. So Spring Court it is. Okay, Terrasen from Throne of Glass versus Scadrial from Mistborn. This was another one that like I felt like I had to throw in. Even if it's like Scadrial in Mistborn era 2, meh, I'm not really feeling it. Terrasen sounds freaking amazing. When I think of Terrasen, I just really think of like green. Just like direct correlation to the color green. I love green, so it's gotta be Terrasen. Okay, last new matchup. Asgard from the Marvel Comics, specifically the Marvel Comics, not just Norse mythology, versus Inkmore-Pork from Discworld. Oh boy, because one of these is like almost literally heaven, right? But then the other one is a disc on the back of a giant turtle, and that would just be so funny. Both of these are flat though, technically. I don't think either one of these is a planet. Am I crazy for this? I think I'm gonna do Inkmore-Pork just because it would be so weird and iconic and fun. Next we have Caemlyn from Wheel of Time versus, I don't want to say it, so I would go for Caemlyn anyway. Freaking would love to visit Caemlyn. Okay, Orisha from The Legacy of Orisha versus Nalthis from Warbreaker. Both of these feel like very vibrant places to go. Oh, this one's hard. Okay, what kind of magic would I prefer to see? Do I want to see the colors and breadth of Nalthis, or do I want to see... I think I want it... Yeah, I'm going to go with Nalthis on this one. Oz from The Wizard of Oz versus Naboo from Star Wars. I love Naboo. Maybe I shouldn't have put that one on here, but a society where like they have actually achieved such sustainability that like the entire planet is focused on the arts. Oh, come on, that sounds amazing. Okay, Two Rivers. Oh, wait, these are kind of cute. I like that these are going up against each other. Two Rivers from Wheel of Time versus the Shire from Lord of the Rings. I feel like I would actually feel really bad if I went to go visit the Two Rivers. The people there, they don't really like people stepping on their toes. Maybe not incredibly welcoming of outsiders. The Shire, I think that the hobbits would be like really confused to see someone like me visit, but ultimately they'd be pretty nice. So I'll go with the Shire. Oh, Narnia versus Hogwarts. See, if I had to choose a place to live, I think it would definitely be Hogwarts because that would probably mean that I'm a teacher. a professor at Hogwarts, and I think that would be so amazing. But to visit, it's funny that Hogwarts is just Scotland, but I love Scotland. I freaking like love playing Hogwarts Legacy and just exploring all of the weird places in the castle, and I feel like doing that IRL would be amazing. Okay, Tar Valon versus the Tamerlane. This is actually also a no-brainer. I would freaking love to go visit Tar Valon. Even if I couldn't like go into the White Tower, it'd be sick to just wander the city around it. Okay, Cell from Elantris versus the Spring Court. Thank goodness something good against the Spring Court. Like I said, I know it's supposed to be perfect, but I have allergies and that might not be fun. Okay, Terracin from Throne of Glass versus Ink Morpork from Discworld. I'm gonna have to go with Terracin this time. Oh, do I though? Ink Morpork would just be so funny. It's gonna have to go against a really, really good one for me to not want to just commit to the bit on Ink Morpork. Okay, Camelin from Wheel of Time versus Nalthis from Warbreaker. See, I feel like they kind of have similar vibes city-wise, but then Nalthis has the added benefit of the breadth and the colors, and I feel like as a visitor that would be so interesting to see. It's gonna have to be Nalthis. Okay, next we got Naboo from Star Wars versus the Shire. Oh, that one's kind of hard. There's gonna be more things to do on Naboo. I feel like you can get kind of the same like just lounging in the sun and growing things on Naboo, but then also if you want to, you can like go into cities and see art. I love museums, and so I feel like I'm gonna have to go that way just for a little bit more variety in what I'm doing. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, this one's hard. For me, this one kind of pivots on whether or not I would actually be able to go into the White Tower. Because if I could, even just as like a visitor, like not necessarily learning how to weave or anything like that, that would be, weave? Is it weaving or is channeling? I've been reading way too many fantasy books lately. I can't actually keep the systems apart. Versus visiting Hogwarts. I love Hogwarts, but I'm gonna have to go Tar Valon. Okay, Cell from Elantris versus Ink Morpork. This is gonna be it. I love Elantris. It would just be so interesting to go and visit and see the different systems that they have. Okay, Nalthis from Warbreaker versus Naboo from Star Wars. Nalthis has magic, but Naboo is the birthplace of Padme, and I love Padme. It's gonna have to be Nalthis. Ooh, is it gonna have to be Nalthis? Yeah, it is. Tar Valon from Wheel of Time versus Cell from Elantris. See, a part of me thinks it would be really funny to do Cell just so it's like the two Sanderson standalones versus each other. But I really, really would love to visit Tar Valon, see the Ajas, see the tower, and I feel like that makes this one actually pretty easy. I love the Wheel of Time. It's been like a year since I finished. I think I finished in June or July of last year. And I'm already itching for a reread, which I just think is so funny, but I miss it so much. It was such a good series. I get why people are so obsessed with it. Yeah, Tar Valon, that would be amazing. Maybe I could run into some of my queens too. All right, I guess my ideal fantasy vacation is Tar Valon, which honestly really checks out for me because it's gonna be a place that's got like some sort of magic going on, but then also it feels like there'd be so much to look at and see in Tar Valon. Yeah, I'm surprised that when I was putting together the list, that wasn't like an obvious like, oh, this is gonna be a winner to me, but that it really does check out. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you had fun watching it, and if you'd like to see more kind of fun, goofy little fantasy sci-fi things like this, please go and check out my channel. Consider subscribing, and I will see you guys next time. Bye. Darling. I don't know, man. I love Elantris. I will die on that hill, even though I don't feel like it's a hill that needs to be died on. I butchered that.